All right, another cold cut, blah, blah, blah. So, this one we're gonna clean. We're gonna clean a little. No, I'm lying. So, I was gonna show. I'll just show y'all anyway. So this is a treated cloth. Now, just for sake of showing, you see, could be doing a little better. So, just grab it like this. Well, it's pretty much the same because I don't know what I'm doing, apparently. I'm joking. But still, I mean, you see, that's there. And that's one option you can do. So we're not going to be doing that. But there also is this. This is for... what is this, Zepp's industrial cloth, I think? And so this is for just your standard cleaning. So maybe not in this one, but let's say down here. You see there is a bunch of cork grease and other yucky crud. We'll grab this, just go in there. And, you know, it's a standard cleaner. It cleans. By the way, we will be doing the tenon cork. Now, some people would say, oh, this is all right, blah, blah, blah. These little parts right here, I don't think that's good. So we'll take that off and put a new one on. So y'all will see that as well. This is just a standard shop towel. That's, you know, who doesn't have a shop towel? And then I also have some of these. These are polishing cloths. They are used, but they still get the job done. And last but not least is this package. Wow. No. This is silver polishing cloth. I have a roll of it here at home. And it's treated and it's very powdery. But this will clear up silver really well. And so, like I said, this is a silver clarinet. Or silver plated clarinet. So we'll be using that, we'll say. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. And then these out of the way. We will clean those. I'll clean those off camera. And these, doink, out of the way. So like I said, off camera, this video will be taking out the pads. We'll just do it nice, clean and simple. So this is a bench block. This is my bench block. I have kept magnets on it because I have a lot of other things that these magnets could stick to that I'd rather not have them stick to. But yeah, and so because of that, I think, yeah, see, I magnetized the block. Oopsie, which, you know, it's not really that bad. So this is a torch. It's a, well, I mean, you can read. Well, in case you can't, it's a blazer. It's a micro torch. And here is some butane. And yeah, this is used. I've had this forever. But a little tiny torch. You know, we're gonna turn off the lights real quick. Okay, turns out I. Okay, yeah. And then it's got another. Wow. So this is a pretty nifty thing. I tend to keep it really low. Low enough that I can start it. See, pulsing, it's not doing it. So I keep it a little low. And that should do us plenty. If you go too fast, you're gonna burn the silver. You're gonna mark the silver. Even if it's not silver, you could still burn something, unsolder something if you're not lucky enough. But all in all, just looking at all these keys and everything, they don't look too bad. The pads, that is, don't look too bad. This cork is kind of old, but I might leave it. This is just necessary key corks, tenon corks. That tenon cork I showed y'all, I would say it's necessary. That's a me thing. but you know, there's something to be said about having pride in your work. Either way, so you just inspect every key. We've seen this one. Some people will put some felt or some cork on this top piece because here. So these two go together around the clarinet. And so I will probably replace this and use some felt, some black felt. I just think it makes it glide a little smoother. So, you know, there's that. I mean, you could use felt. Some people use Teflon. I don't have any Teflon, but it's really just preference what you'd like to use. Obviously, these don't have pads in them, so we'll just toss them to the side. No pad. A lot of times, more often than not, you'll be replacing that one. And see, there's a very small, tiny amount of cork there. And right now, I only have 2 sizes of cork because that's all I need. I just need the 2 sizes. That looks fine. I might touch that up with a razor blade. Now, with a razor blade, I like to keep a scraper. So that one's for scraping. And, you know, it doesn't matter what brand. I bought 1,000 razor blades, so these are going to last me a while. You always want to use a new one whenever you're cutting cork, because razor blades, they're pretty thin. They're pretty thin on the cutting edge. So, I mean, I'm not going to be able to show you how thin, but imagine that nicking a piece of metal. It's just not going to look, it's not going to cut as well. I'll just trace along the sides at a 45-ish angle, as long as you're cutting nice. Some people, one clean stroke. That's not me. I don't do a clean stroke. Well, I do, but at times doing it like this is fine enough. You could also sand this down using some sandpaper. And, well, I'm not going to. Well, I hope there was a before, because this is the after. Pretty nice, huh? And then with the razor blade, I have a sharps container. Got this one off Amazon. Comes in packs of 3. I've gone through a lot, huh? And then, as for sandpaper, I'll just show y'all. I got this, once again, off Amazon. A lot of the stuff you see on my bench, you can get off Amazon. Regardless of whatever you think of Amazon, if you need something, buy something. So, that's all it is. You know, necessity. Something about necessity. Where I was going was necessity is the mother of invention, which I've done a couple things here and there. But, you know, if you need something, buy something. You could call it an investment. Some people don't see it that way, but it's an investment. You invest in your tools, you invest in your setup, and it'll come back. You know, money's just money. But either way, for these pads, there's glue. Now, you can have different types of glue. This is probably a glue stick. I'll just show you real quick. So I have these other types of glue, and you can see the color difference. There's different qualities, different types, different melting points. I bought this from J.L. Smith. And these are some nice glue beads. They're mostly uniform. There's very seldom any chance that I'll need to cut them down to size. But more often than not, 1 or half a bead will get you where you need to go. I have a bunch of little things in here. Kind of looks like fish eggs, a little row or something. But yeah, you know, you just grab a handful. That's it. And then, let me see if I have it nearby. I probably don't. The last thing is some glue sticks. If you can't buy any of the, you know, beads that I showed for any reason, go to Homer. Go to Homer Depot and get you some glue sticks. And you'll have to chop them down to size. It's unfortunate. But if you use these, you'll have basically unlimited amount of glue beads. that you want. You just make them yourself, basically. All right, after some technical difficulties, it is now 5 hours later. I think I was talking about glue. Yeah, you get the glue sticks. You can cut them down. They'll last you long. And so yeah, there's different types of glue. I took apart a clarinet while I was waiting for stuff to happen. This has shellac on it. Now, if you don't know, shellac is the worst of the worst. It's coarse, gets everywhere, something, Anakin, whatever. Either way, I hate it. I dislike it. And I don't want to deal with it, so I don't use it. As you can tell, sorry for the noise, there's a bunch of it all over my bench. I don't have a mat because this bench isn't permanent. You know, nothing's permanent. But for now, make do with what you got. So, we're taking this up. So, I'm gonna take anything that doesn't have a pad in it. So, this one has nothing. I wonder how that happened, Whatever. So, the way I do it, burner. Now, let me turn off the light. So, pretty strong. You can leave it locked if you want. I don't. I like to keep it pulsing. So, and then, boom. Simple as that. It was off screen, I think. So, we'll give you another. I'm being very careful to not burn the silver. Instead, I will get glue all over the silver. In that case, I'll just heat it up and then rub it on my my apron. My apron gets dirty, but wow, look at that. Pretty cool. But I wouldn't recommend using your fingers just because, you know, not a lot of you are going to be as good as me. And that's just how it is. No. There's a lot more risk to burn your fingertips or your fingernails. Personally, I don't care. You know, I do whatever's fastest, quickest, whatever helps me get this thing apart. Quicker rather than sooner, I guess. But yeah, it's just nice little, neat little process. I always do the swipe down because you'll see that there's strings. And then, unfortunately, with my little thing, I get some glue on my thumb, but I just take it off. But we'll do it again just to show. Heat it up a little. And then see how it's just like that. And so sometimes, like I said, it'll get on top of the pad cup, but it's of no consequence. You could buff it off. I wouldn't, but you can just heat it up with some heat, and then that's it. Just take it off, wipe it off. I do have another burner. I don't use this one as much. I used to when I first started. It's a nice little starter torch. But for me, I've done enough clarinets to... I've done enough of them. I've done enough of them. I know what not to do, what to do. I'd say I have a good general sense of knowing, I guess. I don't know. What do I know, huh? Well, I know I'm taking apart a clarinet, right? But in the end, I'm just taking off pads, and then hopefully making this play, you know, better than it was before. That's the goal. Everything should play better than it was. If it's not, what are you doing? What are you doing wrong? Whatever. But, yeah. Wow. So these are the trill keys. This is the C and B flat trill key. Almost always they will be together. And till death do them part. No. More often than not, I find that they will be stuck together. Because, you know, how often do they get pulled apart? Other than for not even replacing the pads. Some people just keep keep the keys on and then replace the pads. So these don't usually come apart very often, but if you get the chance to do it, to take them apart, I would take them apart, give them a little rundown through, I don't know, water, acetylene. So what I use as a degreaser is denatured alcohol. Don't look at that. No. And I don't know what those mean, but all I know is this is some good stuff to use. It's safer than paint thinner. I know some people use paint thinner or acetone, but I'd rather use this. And it smells nice. It smells sweet. Most of the caustic stuff, harmful to you, smells good. And so that's one of the upsides to using this. But you can use that and then get pipe cleaners. I don't know if it's just me. I'm not able to find pipe cleaners, but this is what I get, made in USA. And so, yeah, just use this, get in there. You know what am I talking about? Telling you. Let me show you. I'm not gonna use that, not right now. Just get in there, just like that. And you can do this for everything. These get in there. They get in there. And you can already start to see yucky, gross. So that gives you an understanding of how gross some of these instruments can be. No harm to the player, or no disrespect or offense to the person who had this clarinet. I feel like a lot of the time people don't think about, you know, the inner workings. How, like, go up to a clarinet player, ask them, oh, on your 80 ring key, do you think about this pivot point? Do you think about the screw that goes in there? Have you oiled that? Sure, they can oil it, but do they think about what's inside of there? What could be in there? Or, I don't know. I mean, like, how often do you think about springs when you're doing that? You know, it's like, you do these things daily, you use these instruments daily, and it becomes a habit. Subconsciously, you stop thinking about a lot of these other things. Obviously, you have your maintenance, your yearly maintenance, but unless something breaks, you don't think about it. But I think it's worth thinking about. It's definitely worth thinking about, and so I'd think about it. That's what I would do if I were you. And so, going further, all of these, now there's two schools of thought. One is you take out all the glue that is in there, any residual glue. That's something you can do. I don't do that. I leave the glue in there, regardless of its, you know, shellac or anything else. I leave it in there because why not? And more often than not, it ends up being the perfect amount for the glue beads. And that's just my way of doing it. But for now, I'm gonna go run these through my wash and we're gonna see what happens. A click. No, I'm joking.